I didn't have a really good week this week, and I spent the last couple of days doing some shopping therapy. I went to some used entertainment bookstores. I went to my local friendly game store. A friend of mine came back from a gaming convention in Vegas and he brought me some gifts. And I had a few things show up in the mail. And I figured in this video, we'll take a look at the things that I have added to my collection. Welcome to Solitary RPG. What I want to do in this video is just kind of take you through my shopping journey from the weekend of everything I purchased and talk a little bit about the different items I have here on my desk. So let me clear off all of this so that we can just kind of go through it one by one. The first thing I want to show you is this board game called The Fellowship of the Ring. I've never seen this game before. I am not familiar with the company at all. And when I saw this on the shelf at a local book entertainment store that buys and sells used items called Bookman's, it was the art that really drew me in. I just love this painting on the front. The price got my attention. It was $20. I was like, okay, that is affordable. Sometimes when you see these older games on the shelves at stores, their prices are too much, and normally I just keep on walking by. So just kind of looked at the art. I was liking it. I was kind of drawn in by the price, and then it's upside down. I started reading the back and just kind of looking at what this is all about. It's a two-player game. It's got a copyright of 1983. And inside, you got a 21 by 26 map. You got 222 illustrated playing cards, 65 playing pieces, 45 disc counters, rules, cards display, charts, and tables. I was like, well, this looked interesting, and I haven't opened it yet. So I figure I don't know if all the contents are in here. I don't know exactly what I got myself into by purchasing this, but I figured for $20 is worth taking a chance to pick it up. It's a two-player game. One player plays the good guys, the other player plays the bad guys. That's about all I know. So let's kind of dive into this and take a look at what my $20 got me. So the box is broken, but I can fix that. But, oh, this is neat. These are like jigsaw puzzle pieces. It's like a hard cardboard and they snap together. Um, it's not, it's decent art. It's not aged or anything like you would think like an old scroll or anything, but it's neat. There's a lot of little pieces. It's going to make quite a big map. So they're mini cards. So this looks interesting. We got an old school D20. Look at that. That takes me back. And you got a red side and a white side. And actually, this is a 2D10s. The red goes 1 to 10, and the black goes 1 to 10. That's very interesting. You got these little D6s. That's cool. So I'm going to have to dig through this and figure out exactly what this mess is. But so far for $20, I'm not too terribly disappointed. So some of these Eye of Sauron cards, I'm assuming, with the eye, are blank and some have characters on them. So I'm really going to have to dive into this and see what all of this is. But all the cubes are D6s. This is interesting. And then you got some little chits. And then we have character cards. Interesting. So this was just a fun purchase. I didn't know what I was going to get myself into. And let me... Like, takes me back to the old Avalon Hill games. Just walls of text. So that will be interesting to read. Feedback information. That's interesting. Uh, just neat stuff. We'll have to. Oh, what is this? The fellowship. This is okay. So these are just player boards, most likely. I saw the hands. I thought maybe we have to make certain hand gestures or handshakes or something to play the game. And then these are all your tables and charts. So this is interesting. Again, this was just kind of a take the chance, see what this is all about. Um, looks like I got some printed stickers of some sort. This is probably something handmade. So anyways, I'm gonna put this off to the side. This is a big mess. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this. I just thought it was neat, and I'll kind of do an inventory of everything in this game. Take a read through the rules. Sometimes buying these old games is just a lot of fun. Just to kind of take a little step back in time and see um, kind of the different ways games used to be made. So let me put this off to the side. I don't want to damage the box any more than it is. Buying that box game for Lord of the Rings kind of put me in this Lord of the Rings collection of things that I picked up. So the first thing I went to, we were at an antique kind of craft show, and I saw this book. It's The Unfinished Tales by Christopher Tolkien. So I have not opened this yet. What caught my attention was this, it was printed in 1980. It talks about the dust cover was in bad shape, but the book is in excellent shape. It was $25. And when you look at the top, it's yellowed, but the front and the bottom are in good shape. Obviously, you got this goldish brown color, but then it's all faded on here, and it kind of goes along the side. It looks like there was a book on top of it. So this must have been sitting and getting hit with the sunlight from like these different angles. But that's what happens with books if you don't take care of them. The sun will destroy them. This is going to get a little loud, but let's take a look at the book itself. I haven't opened any of this stuff. I was kind of just shopping all weekend, and I'm just getting around to taking a look at everything. So this is The Unfinished Tales, and the pages are in great shape. So it does look nice. The book is in great shape. But yes, the dust cover is in really horrible shape. And there's supposed to be maps in here. And let me kind of thumb through. Oh, what is this? Oh, here's my map. It's in the back. Is it? So this is going to be interesting. So we got this big pull-out map that's actually glued to the back page. And let me slide this down. This is kind of hard and unwieldy. But there's the map that's inside. That's a gorgeous map. I really like that. It's just got all the different locations on it. Now it looks like it's either cut purposely at an angle. Let me unfold this again without damaging it. It's cut at an angle here, most likely for folding purposes, so that you don't fold over on the end page there, or the end of the map. Boy, it's really hard to deal with. And then when I was looking at it from the top, there's something right there. So let's... Oh, it's a post-it note. And what do we have? I also need a box of crayons. 64 pack cardboard, beige for a person. All right, that's cool. Someone wrote a little note to themselves. I'll leave that in there. 1983. Interesting. So anyways, this is just something I picked up. I collect a lot of J.R.R. Tolkien stuff, and this just was something I saw. I just really liked it, so I picked it up. And then I also found this book, And this is really kind of just an encyclopedia of everything in the Tolkien world. I like how the letters are done, and it basically you just every basically person's name or race or different things are just throughout this whole book. And I thought this would just be a great little addition to my Lord of the Rings collection, especially with playing the RPG game. You just have all kinds of great information, just diving a little bit deeper into that backstory and that background. This book has a plastic cover over the dust jacket, which makes it a little, keeps it protected a little bit longer, like a library book. And when I opened it up, I noticed that it had a 1976 copyright date, and I didn't see any additional printing dates. So this leads me to believe this is a first printing of this book from 1976. I was 6 years old when this came out. And I just thought it was a fascinating book. And it would just be a nice, piece to my collection. These two books I wasn't too familiar with in any way, shape, or form. I just saw them on the shelf. They were $4 a piece. I just kind of like this is like a cliff note. It was designed for people that really weren't into Lord of the Rings and just wanted to get a better understanding of the world and everything about it. I just thought it was kind of cool. And then this was just another book that was on the shelf. And again, another $4 book. And I figured I would take a chance at it, take a read through it. Again, it had an early copyright date on it of, where to go here, 1974. And I didn't see any additional reprint dates like in this book, which I actually assigned, January of 1974 written in it. But this book had some reprint dates. So first printing was in 69, second printing was also in 69, then 71 and 73. So this tells me this is probably the 1973 version of this book, but that's interesting that it had so many print dates so close together. Must have been really popular when Lord of the Rings was probably in its peak in a book form and trying to help people understand the world better. So just two interesting books to add to my collection. This book is actually a Time Life book. And I learned about this series, The Enchanted World, from Vintage RPG, which is a wonderful podcast that I love listening to. And they actually talked about this series. I believe there's 21 books in total in this series. And this is your typical Time Life type book. And if you're not familiar with Time Life, it's just like the magazine, I guess. It's just really basic information, but great art. And I just, when I saw it on the shelf, it was only $6 for this book. And when I saw it on the shelf, first of all, this marbled paper really got my attention because I'm actually learning how to do marbling right now. And I just thought this was fascinating. This is a rock marbling where they don't do anything. They just put the paints in the liquid and then lay paper on it, and they create that texture or that look. But it's this really basic information just filled with fascinating art. And there's a whole series of just different subjects of fantasy, fairies and dwarfs and dragons and magic and all this cool stuff. But the prints, the art that they use in it is just fantastic. And for solo playing, we are using imagery a lot in our games to kind of spark our imagination. And this could just be a great tool for that. I've been looking for the series. I've never seen them in the wild, and this is the first one I've saw. So I picked it up, and I don't regret it for $6. It's just a fascinating book. And I'm not going to go through all the different pages, but just kind of flip through it and just show you the art. That's just awesome right there. And I don't know who all the artists are. I haven't really dove deep into this book yet, but I just thought this was really cool and just offers me more stuff to look at in my collection. Dancing frogs. So neat stuff. Again, it's in great shape. The cover is it's got a material cover and then this gold embossing, and then the art is glued on. And this book's in relatively decent shape. Obviously, it's got some sun damage or light damage. So I'll probably end up seeking the rest of these. And this is one of those things I could jump on the internet, I can go to eBay and I can buy them all. But that's not fun for me. I like going to stores and I like hunting for books and hunting for games and things like that because you never know what else you're going to find. So I'll probably just put this on the list of things to hunt down when I'm going to use book conventions or bookstores or any place and try to get the rest of the series. This book probably doesn't need much of an introduction. Dungeons and Dragons second edition. This is the monster manual. This I picked up at Bookman's, and I don't know if they didn't price these correctly. They had this book, they had two of the player option books, and they had a world building book, and everything was marked $20. And that didn't seem right to me, so I went ahead and picked it up. And this one's just in great shape. Like everything is just perfect. It's not torn. You got your, typical Dungeons and Dragons second edition. The art's a little bit different. But it's your usual stuff, and it's a monster manual. So how can you possibly go wrong with a monster manual? Just giving you some ideas of different monsters you can add to your game. And you got stats, so if you're playing any of the old school games, you can probably just port these right over. Lots of information about them. I thought it was just a great deal for $20. Again, maybe it is only worth $20 because second edition really wasn't that popular. Um, and sometimes I see these books cheaper than the obviously original books and some of the other ones, but I thought it'd be fun to add into my collection. And the book is just in really good shape. It's not, perfect, but it's not torn up. It Everything's held together nicely and it just looks great. So I picked it up, and I'll just add it to my collection of Dungeons and Dragons books. These two books are brand new. This one's still in the shrink wrap, and we'll talk about that one next. This is another type of a tome book, and it's the definitive guide to creating intriguing and dynamic destinations for storytelling and fantasy role-playing games. And this is from Nord Games. And there's a little blurb on the back. I just, nothing, you can't go wrong with buying another book to help you create settings and interesting places. And I was kind of flipping through this, had lots of charts to roll on and things I could do. I'll do a deeper review on this maybe at another time. But for right now, I just kind of picked it up because I wanted it. And in the back, there were a bunch of pre-done kind of locations that you could just plug into your game without having to create your own. But then again, there's also a lot of information on creating your own unique and interesting place. So I thought that was just another book to add to my collection of tomes that I have. I think tomes are trendy right now because we got the big tome of adventure. Raging Swan just put out a tome book, Think-A-Macon or something like that, and that's on order. It's going to be showing up. And then I saw this, so I'll have these three huge tomes for creating adventures. Escape from New York was a great movie with Kurt Russell back in the day. And this is for Evil Genius and Studio Canal. And this is for a new game that came out for Everyday Heroes. And it's a setting book. And I got it from my local friendly game store, Imperial Outpost Gaming. It was $24, well, $24.99. And I was thinking to myself, it could just be fun to take this setting book and use a different set of rules to play the game because it's Everyday Heroes is set for 5th edition. And I was like, well, I could just use the Year Zero engine and kind of create the same thing. But this is a, what was I was reading this, cinematic adventures for everyday hero role playing. So I'm thinking more like the Aliens cinematic game. But we got some races in here. We got some different things going on. I like you just saw me open it, so I don't know everything that's in here. But maybe I can take the information from here and use a different rule system to create a game of escaping from New York. I'm gonna have to watch the movie again. It's been a long time since I've seen it. And yeah, I just thought it was interesting for $25. Uh, if it gives me a good setting to have some fun with and maybe some scenario information, I could do something with it. So we'll see. It was something I just wanted to pick up. Saw it on the shelf. Then in the mail, I got some more cards. So the Dungeon Dived did a recent video. I'm talking about Morgborg, or was it Morgborg, or he was talking about Forbidden Solemn, one of the two, but talked about these cards. I got a little carried away and bought them all. So these are just neat dungeon cards that you can use for your games, and just some cool information on them. You got them; they're all numbered. There's some icons on them so that you can use to help you with your gameplay. And I just thought they were neat. And there are some, I thought there, yeah, there's some instructions in here as well, that you can, for the different locations, for those numbers. I believe that's how they're tied together because there's 59 of them. And so I got them all, and there's just different ones. And this pack was just a dead end booster pack. So it was only a few dollars, and I thought, well, if it's only a few dollars and I'm ordering everything else, I might as well order these as well. And they're just dead ends to put into your games. There's no numbering on them. This is the fiery chasms, the ice, I'm gonna say dirt dungeons, some sort of purple dungeons. Just neat stuff that you can just add into your cards and have a little bit more to your collection. But yeah, I got these to put in with the rest of my dungeon cards. I like the colors and thought they looked neat. Could use them for a variety of different things. Then my buddy Jason came back from Gamma, which is a trade show in Reno, Nevada, targeting more to retail shops and game companies to showcase some of their new products and things that are coming out. Games Workshop was there handing out sprues. He knows I'm a big collector of Games Workshop models, and he thought I could use these. It looks like we got a little package of ghouls. I'm gonna say, yeah, these are probably ghouls. Looking at they've got some flesh, but they're kind of monstrous looking. I don't know. It's hard to keep up with Games Workshop. And then you got these red sprues here. These probably came from the Underworld series because they've got the designed bases and they're snap tight models, which is what those are all about. And these, I don't know what they are. They're probably war dancers of some sort. Got a net, got some unique stuff. I'll have to figure out what they are, but without the cards, they're just models for me to add to my collection. But speaking of models, I have never seen these before. These are the legendary cuts. These are Pathfinder models, and there's 18 goblins in them. So Pathfinder has very unique goblin imagery. Their goblins don't look like the traditional goblins that you see in Warhammer at all. There's 18 of them, and they're all customizable. So you got all these different components that you can put on them and make them your own. I thought these would just be a fun little project that I can paint up. He gave them to me. I could use them for a variety of different games. Maybe I'll use them for my Warhammer Quest project for the goblins in there, because we do have archers and we have swords and we have different things, and these would just make great goblin models for that game. Let's take a look. Now, I don't know if these are available for retail yet. Like Gamma is where they show off stuff, and these are wrapped in paper, so this is gonna be a little loud. Oh boy, they come with clear bases. That's cool. And you got some clear parts, like for fire. So that's really neat. Take some contrast paint and put that on there. We got some really basic instructions to kind of show you how to put them together. So you got a bottom half, top half, head, and arms. So pretty simple to put together, but you got a bunch of different components for different types, obviously. So this is just an interesting way to pack this instead of it just being on one sheet, which might indicate that these are not available for retail yet, that they're still working on it. Got all kinds of flame stuff. And boy, those are some little arms and little pieces. So a little pick. Oh, that's fascinating. So yeah, like all the little clear bases are kind of coming through. They're going all over the place. Now, clear bases are really cool for any type of board game, or if you're using maps and stuff on your games. That way it all shows through, and it's not just a blob of something on the tabletop. But when you glue on the clear bases, you don't want to use super glue. You actually want to go to the model store and you want to get the model glue specifically for clear bases, because if you use any kind of super glue, it can fog up the clear base. So you want to be mindful of that. But yeah, these are just neat looking models. Very, very delicate though. I don't know if these are really going to be meant for the RPG crowd that aren't used to building models, because you can break these pieces real easily. For me, this is no big deal. I can put these together in no time, and this will be a no-brainer for me. But if you do pick them up, just be aware you're gonna have to be really careful taking these pieces off the sprue and putting these together. But yeah, I'll probably end up using these for my Warhammer Quest project, because I've got 18 goblins and I be a real simple thing to do. And the last thing I want to show is called Gameland since 2006. And what these are really cool shiny dice. So these kind of look like they have glitter, like they cast them in resin, and they're very sharp edges, but there's like a prism inside of them, like glitter and shiny stuff. These would be great for if you had a magic caster or a cleric or something like that, kind of representing kind of their magic abilities and things. The D20, let's see if we can get this thing out. So this is like a hard foam that they're packed in, so they don't come out real easily. Look at that. Those are just neat. And the numbers are in like a copper color, and they just look fantastic. Rolling a 6, 19. So these were just neat. So anyways, this is just a little short video to kind of go over all the things that I purchased this weekend. Making myself feel just a little bit better about some life stuff that's going on, and just to add some stuff to my collection. I love buying books about J.R.R. Tolkien and the Lord of the Rings series and the Hobbit series, D&D books. I do collect some of the older stuff, and this monster manual is going to be a great addition to my collection, and you can't go wrong with more dungeon cards. So anyways, thanks for watching and have a great day.